The Broncos and the Cowboys. And hello, friends. Jim Nantz along with Phil Simms, the Super Bowl MVP. And, of course, Peyton is the talk of the league. And this team comes in on just an incredible roll right now.
Well, the big question, is there any way you could stop Peyton Manning, the skilled players he throws the football to? Can you find a way to get pressure on him? We'll find out if the Cowboys have some of those answers.
We'll be seeing the Cowboys offense take the field first. Dallas won the toss and wants the football. And this game is being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. The Broncos 4-0. Now there are only 3 unbeatens left in the league. Kansas City and New Orleans already winning today. And the Cowboys at 2-2. They're going to run it out with Lance Dunbar. Dunbar wiggles past the 15 and is wrapped up at the 22. Got a flag out right away from Terry McCauley's crew. And now they say they've already picked up the flag. So Romo and company will commence from the 21. Tony completing over 72% of his passes. 8 touchdowns, only 1 pick. His line, and this is a big story for their season, they are much improved, particularly in the middle there with the guards and, of course, the rookie center. Des Bryant caught a touchdown in each of the last 3 games. They're coming out with a 3-receiver set. And a running play with Murray getting the edge. And then kind of twisted down after a 4-yard carry. Bryant was over there trying to seal the side. Here's Jack Del Rio's defense. And up front includes Sean Phillips. And this defense captained by Woodyard. And once again, they will go without Champ Bailey. That mid-foot sprain, now missing the first 5 games. And some thought perhaps he would be back for this one. But he'll sit out 1 more here in his 15th year. Going to get a little more time to get completely healed. 2 tight ends now for the Cowboys on 2nd and 6. They fake to Murray, and Romo with time now flings it, and it's caught. Coming back for it was Williams. Nice move by Williams to get out to the 50-yard line. 25 on that play. But there is a flag back where
illegal use of hands to the face. Defense number 99. Penalties declined.
And it's going to go against the Broncos. It's already been declined.
Well, what a job by Tony Romo, able to stand in there for that extra little time to let Terrence Williams come open to the outside. They basically had him double covered, but the protection by the offensive line, Jim, which is a huge story with the Cowboys, Tony Romo now has time to throw the football, looking to make those plays down the field.
Hands to the face penalty against the Broncos decline. Called on Vickerson. Cowboys first down at the 50. And again, it's Murray for a couple. DeMarco Murray, 3rd in the NFL in rushing. And averaging almost 5 yards a carry. Their last home game, Phil, he really lit it up against St. Louis. Had 175 yards on the ground, including over 80 yards in the first quarter.
That's what they want to be. Of course, Jason Garrett, they've been looking for this. Bill Callahan, the offensive coordinator, to be more physical on the offensive side. That means running the football so they can throw it down the field when they want to.
On 2nd and 8, now they'll go empty. As the ball goes down to the middle of the field with Witten. Old reliable Jason Witten for 14, and he got away from Trayvon.
Spread them out, and when you do that, you get a linebacker on Jason Witten. Done quite a few Cowboy games in the past, and you're always surprised. He's quick, he's nimble, makes that first move, and can separate from linebackers and safeties. So, different plan is going to be needed by this Broncos defense if they want to stop Jason Witten.
That separation from Trevathan, who had an injury in practice this week. They may be testing him early. 1st and 10. And knocked down. It's Murray. He ran into his own guy. He ran into Doug Free and just bounced back awkwardly. It'll go as a loss of about 3, maybe 4.
This defense, they attack the Denver Broncos. They got a lot of speed. They got some good size. Chris Harris, number 25, comes in from the corner spot and forces the run. and really there's nowhere for DeMarco Murray to go to. So the Broncos, they will give up big plays against this defense, but they also, because of being so aggressive, Jim, they're looking for turnovers.
We'll call it 2nd and 13. They seal the pocket. And Romo has the completion to Harris. Breaks the tackle and is near another first. He's going to have the first down.
What a nice little move by Dwayne Harris. Tony Romo looking down the field. Nice check down. And then that little move and the speed. Again, wide receiver against the linebacker. The Broncos keep 2 linebackers in at all times. So you're going to get some matchups with wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends that you got to feel like you can take advantage of.
And that's the second time now, as you see Peyton Manning waiting for his first appearance. It's the second time they've gone after Trevathan and gotten separation.
Well, they just took him out, too.
1st and 10. And Murray into the middle of that line. And Ayers and others. As the Cowboys try to do something no team has done against this Broncos defense since week 2 of last year. And that is, as you see, Ayers is down. That is take it down the field for an opening drive touchdown against the Denver defense.
So many things. The Cowboys, they talk about it. Jason Garrett used it as motivation. They're tired of hearing about Peyton Manning and the perfect Broncos. And it was really kind of fueling the fire for him this week. But get the crowd, keep them into the game. That was a big thing down here this week. And you do that by this opening drive. This crowd's excited.
It was interesting to see Coach Garrett elect to take the football, knowing what Denver has done this year in the 3rd quarter. They've come out with their first possession after halftime and gone down and scored every time. The only team in the league to do that. But he was really weighing that all weekend long, that decision if they won the toss to take it now or later.
He talked to us on Friday about that, but somewhere last night, while he was probably trying to sleep, he changed his mind.
Trying to make the most of this opening possession. I'd like to welcome the rest of you now just joining us here at AT&T Stadium. Jim Nance and Phil Simms. Opening drive of the game. We have not seen the Broncos offense yet. The Cowboys taking it from their own 21 to this point. This is the 8th play of this first series. As the Broncos bring in reinforcement into the secondary. 6 DBs.
There you go. They changed up.
Hey, all 4 of them are down. All 4. There we go. 180. 180.
And Romo finds Beasley, who shoots free. Cole Beasley has a first down where he's wrapped up by Ian Nacho. Made a spin move on Tony Carter, and that freed him up for 10 and a first.
This is a move you see all slot receivers make now. When they catch the ball, they know they're going towards the sideline. The defender's probably going to be going fast. They cut back in there. And what did Jason Garrett say about Cole Beasley? You know, he's just one of those guys that he doesn't realize he's playing for the Dallas Cowboys. This game's on national TV. It means nothing to him. He doesn't care. And good example on that catch and run.
Romo's hit his first 4 throws to 4 different targets. First down, carry Murray. Got open space. Murray stays balanced and gets down to the 3. Nice hard run by DeMarco Murray.
Beautiful run in that time, DeMarco Murray. Running back's got to make decisions like a quarterback. You're back, nice cut. Frederick inside the center gets a good block and keeps bouncing it outside. And Webster, 36, gets just enough. Boy, I'll tell you, DeMarco Murray, if he gives you a straight arm, you're going down. He is a big running back. Nice run by him that time.
2nd and 1 from the 3. They go Murray again, and he cuts in sideways near the first into the arms of Raheem Moore.
Well, it was really a nice defense by the Denver Broncos. They get the first down there, Jim, but they're going to basically double cover the wide receivers, and when the safeties, they see it's run, there's nobody there to block them, they come flying up, and that's what Raheem Moore did that time.
Cowboys bring in Phil Costa and Jeremy Parnell, extra lineman. First and goal. They've only had one rush touchdown in the first 4 weeks. Now they've shifted those linemen we mentioned out, and they go shotgun on first and goal and a timeout. Timeout called by Dallas.
Well, Jim, both teams trying to call timeout. Look at the Broncos. As you look at the people on the field, they had 11 out there. That was number 12. So the Broncos just quicker to the trigger, and they called the timeout before the Cowboys.
So it's first and goal for Dallas. Had it almost now 7 minutes. Fake to Murray. Romo to the end zone. And feet down. Yes! Touchdown, Dez Bryant.
Beautiful throw. It's well covered. How about that? A back shoulder throw, 2 toes in, but if his heels hit the ground, he would be out of bounds. And that's a quick look, Jim, but it doesn't look like the heels come down. Oh, they even come down in bounds. Oh, that's beautiful play by Dez Bryant.
And again, all touchdowns have to be reviewed and confirmed. And Romo, 5 for 5 to open it up to 5 different receivers. The last one, Dez Bryant, and a touchdown.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Pizza Hut. Make it great. And by TD Ameritrade.
6 minutes, 54 seconds, the longest drive allowed by Denver this year. 79 yards it covers, and Bryant has a touchdown catch in the 4th consecutive game. Romo's thrown a touchdown now in 18 straight games. Dan Bailey does exactly what his coach asked him to do, just kick the football on the kickoffs at the stadium. Don't give Holiday a chance.
Jim, as you look at the touchdown, really well done by the Denver defense. Watching the back of the end zone, Dez Bryant goes across. They cut it. Raheem Moore has him in coverage, but not often do you see a back shoulder throw in the back of the end zone when the receiver is going across the field. So Dez Bryant, we heard a lot of wonderful things about him the last couple days down here in Dallas by the players and the coaches. He shows you he's just big time. There's no doubt about that.
And now our first look at the Rocky Mountain Express. The Broncos coming off an all-time franchise-high 52 points in a win over Philly. Peyton goes right to the air and finds Thomas, who was shoved out by Carr, but not until Demaryius Thomas takes it for 31.
You're the quarterback, and he just runs through the coverage.
10-yard penalty.
Phil, there's a flag down.
Couldn't hear what the penalty was, but these flags are confusing because the color of them.
Yeah, it's holding, and McCauley's calling it about as soon as the flag hits the ground. He's not getting his requisite television time. That was called on Vasquez. Holding will wipe out the big play. And the Broncos retreat to the 10-yard line. To Welker, and the ball's out. Did he have the catch? Cowboys say so. Officials say no. Incomplete. He was walloped by Barry Church.
Barry Church coming from the other side away from Wes Welker, but it's a bang-bang play, never gets his feet on the ground. At no time was that going to be a completion.
So Church, who was in on the collision, is down on one knee. Peyton Manning and the Broncos will have a 2nd and 20 coming up. 16th year, 16 touchdowns, no interception. Just ridiculous numbers. And here's the offensive line, and that's a pivotal matchup. Clark today on Ware. Can he shield DeMarcus Ware? And Welker's caught a touchdown in every game. In fact, 6 overall. They average 45 a game, double the league average of 22 and a half a game. 2nd and 20.
Ping, ping, ping. Buffalo, Buffalo, Buffalo. 59.
We're going to go draw with Moreno. And he somehow gets free. Out to the 26. Look at Moreno up on his feet so quickly again, but they'll mark him down near the 26.
Yeah. Also, listen to the crowd. Many Denver fans here. Peyton Manning changed this play from a pass to a run. Nice job keeping his balance, using his hands, because he saw it was going to be a defense where they were playing pass and man-to-man. No extra guys looking at the running back.
Puts him in a 3rd and 4 situation. Tremendous effort by Moreno. And there's a challenge flag out.
I was going to say he was down.
Contact. Timeout.
Was Moreno down early? Ooh, the knee did make contact. Would set up down 3rd and 18 instead.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. Never be without football with NFL Mobile from Verizon. And by Jaguar. Jaguar. How alive are you?
Well, we're coming out of a challenge. We know the knee is down, but was he down by contact? Was he ever touched? You saw Selby reaching around Demaryius Thomas, and now does Ware touch him, or is Moreno making contact with Clark's arm?
Charged with their first timeout.
And again, McCauley's not on the same page as this broadcast right now, so short of it is we couldn't hear him. In fact, they're going to say that he was not down by contact.
There you go. Hey, how about that? We were in unison.
Boy, it was so close. It almost looked like Ware may have touched him, but Clark's arm probably was wedged in between. Fractions. 3rd and 4. Walker. No, it's Decker. First down. And the ball's out at the end. After Decker had plenty for the first and beyond, the Cowboys recover. Claiborne with the recovery.
Well, we heard this from the Broncos. They were worried about ball security. Just a good hard hit. That time by Ernie Sims brings the football out. When you're running up the field, the Cowboys have speed. They chase after it. That's when you got to worry about those hits from the side and behind. Peyton Manning found the easy spot in the defense over the middle. Nobody there. How about Ernie Sims? 3rd down linebacker this week. Good job by him.
And there's Decker, who was limited for a good part of the week in practice because of an ankle. Coughs it up. Cowboy recovery. They're already coming off a magnificent opening drive, and now they're set up on the Denver side of the field at the 45 with 3 tight ends. Rolling out, and now Romo. Shovel pass. He may have been past the line of scrimmage. Boy, that was close, as that was intended for Escobar. Remember, the line of scrimmage was the 45, and he was very close to being past it.
Of course, easy to say, should have kept it. He's behind it. Yeah, good job.
Trying to find the rookie they took in the 2nd round out of San Diego State. Ends up being an innocuous incompletion. 2nd and 10. How much, when we were at the Cowboy Complex on Friday, did they talk about getting off to a start here to get this crowd activated?
Absolutely. Well, the crowd, I think they're pretty fired up right now. No doubt about that.
2nd and 10. Romo shakes off a sack and then fires it incomplete. Almost caught by Harris. Sean Phillips almost had him by the ankles. Romo able to get free and fire it down the field. Looked like a catchable ball.
Yeah, it was. Tony Romo, he's got a little magic in those feet, no doubt about it. Gets out of trouble all the time. You have to surround him and don't leave your lanes when you're rushing on the defensive side against him.
Please set the play clock to 32 seconds.
Says we got to reset that play clock. McCauley was over on the Broncos sideline as Coach Fox had called him over. And now they reset and face a 3rd and 10. Will they make something of the takeaway?
It's a pressure defense. The Denver Broncos, a lot of man-to-man coverage. They really don't play zones and sit back.
Looking for help. He's in trouble. And still on his feet and fires it. What a catch. It's Whitten with the grab as Romo pulled some magic in the pocket. 12 yards on a first down.
You just got to watch it to believe just what he did that time. Nice spin move. And here's what's impressive, how he gathered himself after all that movement at the end to get in position to throw the football in a safe place, and Jason Witten makes a nice catch.
Yeah, it was a great catch by Witten. And the Cowboys now have 7 first downs. Set up screen, tight end screen to Hannah. Get for 3. Fantasy football fans, you can check out CBSSports.com Player Challenge, a new 4-week game with a cash prize in every league. Rules are all available. You can sign up too. CBSSports.com/challenge. 2nd and 7 coming up at the Denver 30.
Jason Garrett did not want to say he wanted to bleed the clock or milk the game or try to shorten it to his football team, but he goes, look, if we can run it and do some things, we have a good chance to maybe keep Peyton Manning on the sideline a little more.
2nd and 7. Bounce outside, but the Broncos, Harris and Woodyard are right there with him. Set him back 1 yard. Robert Ayers was shaken up on the first Cowboy drive. The defensive end for the Broncos. Shoulder injury, questionable to return.
Well, that guy there on the tackle, Chris Harris, what a job he has done for the Broncos. He's asked to do it all. He's got to play outside on first down when it comes to obvious passing situations. They move him inside to Jim, which I think is the hardest position in pro football now, covering the slot receivers in obvious passing situations. They're so talented, and they can go anywhere, of course, and Chris Harris has been fantastic at that job the last couple of years for the Broncos.
This is going to be the 17th snap for the Cowboys versus only 3 for Denver. 3rd and 8. Open. It's Witten at the 10 and down to the 4. 27 to Witten this time.
Here comes the blitz from this side. Watch the late pickup by Smith. What a job there. Tony Romo felt it. Steps up inside. It was a zone defense with the blitz to it. And if that blitz doesn't get there, there's going to be some big holes behind it. There was, and Tony Romo found it.
Longest reception of the season for Witten. 1st and goal. It's Murray. Murray is in for the touchdown. Cowboys take advantage of the fumble. They convert on a pair of 3rd down situations and run it in for the 2nd time this season.
Well, Bill Callahan told us, offensive coordinator, when you talk about DeMarco Murray, big and strong, and now he is starting to see the big picture of the run game. That time, beautiful job cutting back. Hard to bring him down one-on-one without keeping him from going forward.
14-0 Cowboys. Coming off the Decker fumble, the Claiborne recovery, and then the Murray touchdown. Well, Murray may have finished it off, but it was the Romo third down scramble and completion to Witten that really set up that touchdown.
Johnny Manziel, not the only quarterback in Texas that can scramble around and make a big play.
And again, Bailey sails it through the back of the end zone. This Denver offense, well, the first 4 weeks, absolutely sensational. These are all best in the league. 45 a game, 483 yards, pass yards, everything off the charts.
No foul for offensive holding. First down.
Of course, Peyton with the 16 touchdowns and no interceptions. It also matches the greatest streak in the history of the league for touchdown passes before a first pick. Manning on first down. Has the completion to his tight end, Julius Thomas. The 16 touchdowns through the first 4 weeks is the record. Sammy Baugh had a piece of it. So did Dandy Don, 14 back in 1966, and Kurt Warner. Peyton with the 16 touchdowns, no picks. Only Milt Plum of the Cleveland Browns in 1960 has ever started a season like that. First and 10. Manning down the field. There is a flag out. Decker over the shoulder grab and a spin move to get away from Wilcox. We'll check the flag as he takes it all the way to the 3.
Eric Decker is an excellent double move wide receiver. He's been doing it for years. I don't know why. If you're a defensive back, that's the first thing I'd look for.
Firing the pass. Holding. Defense number 24. Penalties decline. First down.
57 it'll go for, Phil.
Yeah, last week, Mo Claiborne on the outside, everybody was mad because he was playing too conservative. That time he's up there and gets beat with a double move. Now DeMarcus Ware, after this pass rush, well, he gets his helmet knocked off, did go off the field.
He's been fighting a stinger all week and a back injury the week before that. So he's out as the Broncos have first and goal from the 4. Shovel pass. Julius Thomas and a touchdown.
That was quick and easy. They beat him with the formation on the first play. Thomas was wide open, the double move, and now a different play. Little backdoor shovel pass. Cowboys, nobody there. Usually when Peyton Manning moves to his right, he throws the football to the sideline to his right. Little change up that time. Thomas wide open.
It's not that often you see a shovel pass from Peyton Manning. You think about it. But this one goes as a touchdown, number 17 on the season for Peyton, and the 5th of the year by the fast emerging tight end. They just went 80 yards in 50 seconds. 5-0. What an electrifying start here between the Broncos and the Cowboys. Here's a look at our Nationwide Insurance Action Cam. And there's been a whole lot of action here to start this one.
Look at all those orange jerseys in the stands, though. Guess what? When the game got ready to start, I looked at you and go, look at those. But you know, we did the Broncos in New York earlier this year. I thought there were a tremendous amount of Bronco fans at that game, too. They're getting like Green Bay and Pittsburgh, where they travel well.
Peyton's 28th straight game with a touchdown pass. Brady's streak ended today as the Patriots failed to score a touchdown in their loss to the Bengals. So we were talking about Peyton. He had come into the week matching Milt Plum for the greatest start before a pick in terms of touchdown passes. Here's Milt Plum in the old Browns in 1960. And Mr. Plum lives out in Raleigh, North Carolina. He got in the news a lot about that this week. He was unaware he even had the record.
Dang, I'll tell you what. Anytime you see those old tapes and everything, it's nothing but a dirt field. Never grass on it.
But you know what? Peyton Manning knew the record. That's the kind of data he stores.
Well, I would know those things too if I thought I could break all these records.
Cowboys from the 20. And again, wide open, it's Des Bryant. And the Cowboys come right out firing for 19, maybe 20.
Well, they got this defense backing up, Jim, so far now, because this time it's a little blitz inside, trying to be aggressive, but a zone. And again, when somebody inside blitzes, you can see the big hole behind those linebackers. Chris Harris has the short receiver. The safety, no way you can cover Des Bryant down the field. Des Bryant, this Broncos defense, they talked a lot about him. They wanted to double cover him every chance they got. I haven't seen it so far today.
On first down, Romo over the top and pulled in by Escobar. That rookie tight end we mentioned, they drafted in the second round, and showing you why they're so high on him.
Right down the seam, watch number 89. What a catch. And they taught, you said it, Jim, he's a big, tall receiver, long arms, and that comes in handy when you're trying to throw over the linebacker down the middle of the field.
The Broncos have Robert Ayers back on the field after being knocked out earlier with a shoulder bruise. There he is. But now it's right back on the Denver side. Romo, pressure from behind, and he is sacked for the first time. And it's Ayers who comes right back into the game and makes the play.
The initial pass protection is very good on the outside, but Tony Romo can't find anybody open right away. He looks for the second window, nothing there, and Ayers gets the sack.
We've got another Bronco injured. It's Wesley Woodyard, their captain. Boy, you've had a number of players shaken up. DeMarcus Ware, Barry Church. Ayers went out earlier.
Well, you look at Woodyard, you said the captain, the guy that calls the plays for the defense, and a captain is what, his last 10 years of football. High energy, and really can do it all. Tackle, blitz, cover people down the field because of his speed.
No, his leadership has been amazing going back to his high school days. He's right in the middle of the field here.
I don't know what happened live. Got hit, fell down, stepped on.
Remember, he rolled an ankle in the first game of the season against Baltimore when he was trying to go in and pick up the pieces after Danny Trevathan had to let go of the football, running in early, celebrating what he thought was a touchdown.
He's yelling at somebody on the Cowboys. I think he wasn't happy with what happened maybe after the play.
Yeah, he got
at the end of that play, he got trampled, yes. You know, it's interesting. Jack Del Rio, the defensive coordinator, is an ex-linebacker in the NFL. So when he calls the play in to Woodyard, he says, okay, here's the play. Now, don't forget if they do, and gives him tips on how to play the position. It's worked out really well.
Jack Del Rio, who played for the Cowboys from 1989 to 91, and has been linked to the USC coaching vacancy, his alma mater. Second and 16. More pressure, and again, spinning away from the heat. Ayers, Romo. To Witten again. Witten having a huge first quarter.
Well, he's having a big first quarter, and so is Tony Romo. Let's watch where Jason Witten is. Hard to find him here this time, but watch Tony Romo as a reverse field and finds Witten down to past the first down. He's coming across the field, Jason Witten. He's wide open anyway. Nobody covered him. Somehow Tony Romo finds him across the field.
That's 4 catches for 70 yards for Witten. First quarter comes to an end. Dallas had 12 first downs in that first quarter, leading 14-7. Jim Nance, Bill Sims, the CBS crew here in Arlington, Texas, starting the second quarter. Romo, his best first quarter of his career, 167 yards.
He's on fire. He is throwing it as well as a quarterback can throw a football.
Gives it to Murray, who breaks through a little seam and picks up another 9.
How about that? Your left tackle. Everybody likes their left tackle to be a good pass protector. But watch him lead up into the hole, and Murray, boy, good block by Smith. What an athlete. A little thin when he came out of USC a couple years ago, but I think you can tell by looking at him, he's grown into quite a man, and he's turn into one of those left tackles that you'd like, where you can say, take the guy on the outside one-on-one, and we'll figure out a way to block the rest of these guys.
Tyron Smith, their first pick back in 2011. 2nd and 1, and they'll go from the gun. And it's Murray again to the 10, to the 5, and down to the 2. This time it was Brian Waters.
You said it right. Bring him out of retirement and watch the right guard pull around and get it done. Seal off Trevathan. And what a difference. We talked about at the start of the game. That's all we heard when we were at the Cowboys on Friday. They have such great faith, and they're so happy their offensive line has finally come around for them the way they want it to be.
The interior part of that line, such a big difference.
It's huge. Frederick, the controversial #1 draft pick, let me tell you something. Number 72 has been fantastic at the center position for the Cowboys this year.
Left side move for Dallas. Smith.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's the first penalty on Dallas. You said controversial first pick. You know, the Cowboys shake their head and wonder, well, why was it a controversy? This is a guy we wanted all along, and he's already shown us this guy's going to be around for like a dozen years or more,
because
and a huge anchor of their line.
The draft gurus didn't have him rated that high, Jim. And Bill Callahan, let's see, he's been in the league a long time. He actually coached up at Wisconsin, went up there and worked him out, and said he was positive it was going to work out, him being a center for the Cowboys.
First and goal from the 8. Romo from the pocket to the end zone, and it's knocked down by the Denver secondary. Ian Nacho and Moore were both back, trying to keep it away from Dez Bryant.
Well, good job. You have to see in front of receivers. These Denver Broncos secondary people, especially the safeties, will read the quarterback's eyes. And Ian Nacho, you're right, he doesn't quite get there. A little too far in front of Dez Bryant. But they are active, these safeties, when you look at them. Raheem Moore, Ian Nacho, they will take chances to make a big play.
Murray split wide to the left. As Romo looks right, goes middle, and it's incomplete. It's going to Witten.
Tony Romo had him. It was double coverage on Jason Witten. They all know it, but Jason Witten, watch him on the inside as he goes down the field, knows it. He's going to hook up and just basketball the guy behind him.
I think Ian Nacho got a hand on it.
Well, he did. Even the foot. I'm sorry, if that football would have been right on target, Ian Nacho was going to knock it down anyway.
So now, 3rd and goal. Romo, all kinds of time. All kinds of time. Now is forced down at the 25 by Sean Phillips. 17 yards on the sack.
Well, I was trying to be the quarterback also that time. Look down the field. Do you see anybody come open? And what happens is the receivers are so like, what do we do? They didn't know where to go and readjust. Inside, nice pass off coming across the field. They're covered. Boy, that is some job by the secondary. Finally, but Tony Romo's sacked before Williams comes open in the corner. Dan Bailey is out for a 43-yard field goal try. He's missed his last 2. Last one against the Rams and one last week against San Diego, but pure on this one. 17-7, Cowboys. Well, to think the Cowboys had 1st and goal at the 3, and they had the false start penalty, and ended up having to make a 43-yard field goal. Yeah, I got to give the false start. It's got to go against Tony Romo. Changing the play, making calls, and giving a hard snap count, that's too much for an offensive lineman to overcome. Again, not allowing a handle by Holiday, who had another return for a touchdown last week. Coming out for just his 7th snap of the game. Peyton Manning, 4 out of 5, including a 57-yard throw to Decker. But Romo's numbers, 11 of 15, 167, and a touchdown pass to Bryant. Cowboys have run 27 plays. Manning only 6 so far.
Got a Cowboy, Dunbar, injured on kick coverage. Dylan McDermott, Tony Collette, starring the new drama, the thriller called Hostages, and you can catch up with it tomorrow at 10/9 Central, only CBS. Cowboys, Barry Church shaken up in the first quarter. He's back in at safety. Ware's back out there too for Dallas, as Moreno hops past the first wave, and that may have been late. Sims is going to be flagged for it.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 59, late hit out of bounds. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Ernie Sims, who had a few things to say during the week, though, the Cowboys getting tired of hearing about Peyton Manning. That's what he expressed.
Well, here's why it's a penalty. He gets him in bounds, but he takes him out of bounds and then throws him down. That's why they threw the flag. It's a good call.
Peyton is looking in Decker's direction again. And Claiborne, that time with tight coverage.
You know, go back to Noshawn Moreno. They drafted a running back, Jim, in the second round, Monte Ball, but Noshawn Moreno he came in and bared up. He's been great in pass protection, running the football. We talked to him last night.
He gets the handle here on 2nd and 10. And he's able to go up to the 48, but did the ball come out? They say it stays with the Broncos. Here's Moreno. Oh, that ball was definitely out, but Moreno, did he recover it?
He must have, because no Cowboy came running out of that huddle or that pile with the football.
3rd and 6. There's Moreno in stride to the 33. As Peyton takes something off of that throw and lofted it right into the perfect spot for 19.
Beautiful job. It's like they knew here comes the blitz, so they free release the halfback out of the backfield, and they got a defensive end, Rayford, trying to cover him down the field. Impossible to do. The Cowboys, they blitz a bunch of people from one side, somebody from the other drops off.
As Julius Thomas takes it down to the 27. We have been told that Moreno did in fact recover his own fumble. And now we got another flag on the far side of the field.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 29, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You know, I'm not making excuses, but I am making excuses here because these flags on the field, we got all the same, the towels, everything on, it's all pink. So when the officials throw the flag, you're not sure if it's the towel from one of the players or a flag on the field.
They changed the number on the infraction. There was against Scandrick. It's pink. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the NFL doing a great job of supporting and helping spread awareness. Hillman is in the backfield on 1st and 10. As Peyton flings it to Hillman, and he darts within a yard of the first. We're hearing it was a hamstring injury suffered by Dunbar on the kick coverage for the Cowboys. He's questionable to return. And Woodyard, we're hearing, is probable to get back. Second and 1. There's an opening for Hillman. And Hillman is taken down at the 2, running behind Vasquez. Church saves the touchdown.
He said nice cut that time by Hillman, about 15 pounds heavier this year than he was last. So not only can he go outside, he can run inside with a little more power.
And the Broncos hurry back to the line. 1st and goal.
two. Nothing that Claiborne can do on the coverage. He did very well overplaying it and taking the throw up the field. But Peyton Manning, watch the back shoulder throw. What an adjustment by Decker.
How do you defend that?
You don't. You just leave it up to the quarterback. You say, if you can make that throw, we got to give it to you. But these quarterbacks in the NFL now, so many of them very good at that throw.
Prater adds one more. Claiborne was on the coverage. He got beat up pretty badly last week by Rivers and the Chargers. But Decker has Broncos' second touchdown.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Fidelity Investments. Take control of your personal economy. Captain Phillips in theaters Friday. And by Acura. Meet the extremely new 2014 MDX at Acura.com/MDX.
There they are preparing Phil's meal last night. Little platter you had.
A hard 8, yeah. Well, I don't know if I quite ate that much, but
You were civilized. You left a few morsels on the plate.
I didn't see you leaving early.
Another 80-yard drive was completed by the Broncos in rapid fashion. And it's Harris selecting to run it out. And he's a yard short of what a touchback would have provided the Cowboys. 31 points in the game so far. Not a single punt. How about most points through the first 4 games of the season? That Don Meredith team and the Cowboys at 66. Or you see the Broncos in the mix. And, of course, the Bears of 41. Now let's talk about through 5 games as the Broncos have a chance to move past the greatest show on turf, the Rams in 2000. If they put up 39 points today, they'll have the best ever point total through 5 weeks of a season.
Running backs, well, I was going to say he's tight to the quarterback. Having success with this wide open spread offense working well.
There's Dez Bryant. Ball comes out. Did he make a football move? It's Iheanacho with the recovery. And it's Denver football at the 41. Stripped away by Kayvon Webster.
Watch it full speed. Here it goes. Catch. Oh, there's a time there, Jim. So there was a football move, an element of time pass. He got his feet on the ground. 2 feet. He's now moving. There's the tucking of the football. That is going to be a catch and fumble. An aggressive defense. It's confirmed. But it is an aggressive defense, and it just matches what we see on the other side with this Broncos offense. They're aggressive. This team, it all fits together. It's one of the reasons why they're 4-0.
Moreno back on the field, back with the carry. He's got 2 into the arms of Sean Lee.
Well, the Cowboys sitting over there going, man, we're playing pretty good, and here we are. We could be either tied or behind when Peyton gets done with this drive, but that's going to be what this game is like today. You can't be afraid to take chances. We've seen the Cowboy offense be aggressive. Now I think we got to see this defense take some chances, try to play some one-on-one coverage, and see if you can get to Peyton Manning.
No catches to this point for Welker nor Thomas. Thomas did have one, but was wiped out by penalty. Welker's lined up in the backfield on Manning's right side. And they go draw with Moreno. Oh, he is pushed back by Nevis. Holds him to 2. This was 14-0 Cowboys with 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. And now Denver faces 3rd and 7, trying to drive down and take the lead here mid-second. As Peyton has his open man, it's Julius Thomas again. Breaks 2 tackles and finally settles down at the 22. Another 16 for the tight end.
Julius Thomas, number 80, left side of your screen against Bruce Carter. the pass rush, it collapses. Peyton just shuffles to the outside. We haven't heard the word DeMarcus Ware yet, pressuring the quarter. Nobody has gotten close to Peyton Manning.
As Peyton works the middle again, he goes back to Julius Thomas.
We talked about it earlier, Jim. Two linebackers. They got to cover the tight end or a wide receiver. Tough to do.
Sean Lee, he's played against Peyton before when the Cowboys surprised Indianapolis 4 years back and won up there in overtime, and Lee picked him twice and ran one back for a touchdown. That was a 5-yard gain to Julius Thomas. And caught 4 balls, including a touchdown.
81, he's Mike. 81.
On 2nd and 5. Now they get in Peyton's face, and a flag is out. They appeared to grab the face mask.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask. Defense number 98. Athletes to the goal. Automatic first down.
I believe it's on Selby 99.
Yeah, he definitely gets him in the face mask, Jim. You watch Peyton's whole head turn.
Boy, given his neck issues that kept him out for a year, that is a frightening sight.
I'll tell you what he was doing there on that play. It was a blitz. He was checking out, but the Broncos made a mistake, so they were fortunate about that it didn't turn into worse.
Manning appears to be fine as the Broncos have a 1st and goal to go at the 8. And it's Hillman, stopped right at the line by Sean Lee again.
Well, Sean Lee says he prides himself the fact that he calls the plays and never comes off the field. Well, if he could go full speed in this game today, that's quite an accomplishment against this offense, because they make you think so much, and of course they attack you physically too.
So you ready to call on Demarius or Welker for a first time? They're both lined up on the left side, 2nd and goal. He's going right side, and it's Julius Thomas again for the touchdown.
Well, they don't even care that the best covered person on the Cowboys football team is covering their tight end, split out as a wide receiver. They changed this play. He likes the matchup. And Julius Thomas, who do you cover, Jim? What do you do?
Well, they're obviously putting such an emphasis on Welker and Demarius Thomas that Julius Thomas is the go-to guy for 5 catches today, 53 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the Broncos now with 3 touchdowns in about a 12-minute span set up by the Dez Bryant fumble. Peyton with another touchdown toss. It's about much more than pink on the field. Together, the NFL and the American Cancer Society helping women across the country make a crucial catch. Hear the personal impact stories and find out how you can help finish the fight against breast cancer at NFL.com/pink. There's Demarius Thomas as an aunt who is a breast cancer survivor.
Did I say Peyton Manning's throwing the ball really well today?
I didn't know if you noticed yet.
Yeah.
Only 3 touchdown passes in a little more than a quarter and a half. It's starting to look like opening night against Baltimore.
Well, look at this. He sees Brandon Carr outside technique, and here's the safety back. He's expecting maybe a fade, so he gets nervous. Barry Church, and then he goes outside. Now nobody inside. That's why Julius Thomas can make the catch and then split them. So the fades, the throws to the corner that we saw already in this game, Jim, to Eric Decker, it gets the defense thinking. Then they do the opposite, go inside, easy touchdown.
And of course, it was that first night that Peyton had the 7-touchdown game. 2 of them going to Julius Thomas, who has 2 already. There's the Dallas drive chart. Only time they've been stopped was the fumble on the last series. They go end around with Terrence Williams.
Sean Phillips not fooled, stays outside. What a pickup there it is for him. He's changed the way he's played. When he played for San Diego, it was all about get to the quarterback Now he's tough on the run, and when the opportunity comes, has been pressuring the quarterback and doing well in that aspect too.
How about the Cowboys coming out the way they did at the beginning of this game, and they're already down.
Yellow 80.
To put up the first 14 of the game. 2nd and 8. And they get to Romo. That was Malik Jackson flying into the backfield to get to him.
Couple years, Malik Jackson, number 97, going to come around on the game, and it catches him. Leary not quick enough to make that adjustment, and he's really the unsung hero of those defensive linemen. He's had a terrific year, comes in, spells defensive ends and defensive tackles, and that time he got the sack.
And it's the 3rd sack of the game for the Broncos, and it set Dallas back 7 yards and put into a 3rd and 15.
Fast break offense, and you're seeing a fast break defense by the Broncos.
Romo on fake, dives down 21-yard line. A 3 and out for the Cowboys.
Yeah, that hit looked like it was a little late. Is anybody open down the field? You're thinking about trying to get the first down? The answer is no. Everybody going deep. Good coverage. This is what they like to do. Webster against Des Bryant. They're playing him today because he's big and strong and can fight Des Bryant when he needs to.
It's the first punt of the game for either side. Chris Jones. To Holiday, watch out for him. Backpedals to the 28. Going to run out of real estate at the 34. But Peyton and company are quickly back on the field after a 58-yard punt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by New York Life Insurance Company. And by the new LG G2. Learning from you. With LG, it's all possible.
And State Fair of Texas, it's October, so it's that time of year south of the city at the State Fair in Fair Park. Jim Nance, Phil Simms here outside of Dallas, where the Broncos offense has been gearing it up here, putting on another show.
54's Mike, 54! Super! Go!
Moreno into the secondary and finally tackled at the 50 by Bruce Carter. Gain of 14.
Well, they got everybody up in there. They get caught inside. Julius Thomas, look at that. Nobody to block on the edge. So he turns down the field. There's Wilcox, can't make the tackle. So you got to be very disciplined then. Whatever the play is, pass, run, inside, outside.
Ram! Go!
Fakes to Moreno. And now goes down the field, knocked out of the hands. It's going to be a flag on Lee, who was trying to cover Julius Thomas.
Pass interference. Defense number 50. Automatic first down.
Saw this last week against the San Diego Chargers. When you send the tight ends down the field, across the field, number 50 in the middle of your screen, you're expecting them to go down the middle. This is a different look going all the way across the field. Never looks for the ball, Sean Lee, so that's an easy call.
21-yard penalty.
But Dallas did crowd the line of scrimmage and tried to play a little pressure. It didn't work, but I like to try.
From the 29, it's Moreno. And again, it's number 54, Bruce Carter. He tackles him. Watch the way Manning will try to execute this last 2 minutes and change. Second and 5.
Here we go!
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 51. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's called on Kyle Wilbur. Just a reminder, coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, and Coach Power, all the latest scores and highlights Coming up on the Verizon halftime report. So we're visiting last night with Coach John Fox. They love getting that first possession of the second half. And there's nothing he enjoys more in a game than getting that last drive of the first half, producing points, and coming back out with possession to start the third quarter as they reach the 2-minute warning.
Well, John Fox has changed his thinking on a lot of things since he's got Peyton Manning at quarterback, hasn't he?
Yeah, no kidding. Remember how the Cowboys operated that first quarter? 12 first downs, a couple of touchdowns. 11 in this quarter for the Broncos. First downs, that is. Only one for Dallas. They have owned this quarter. Looking for more. From the 19. Set up screen to Moreno. And he tumbles to about the 12.
So many ways to attack you. It's really incredible. The wide receivers, a tight end, running back, screens.
Timeout called by the Cowboys. And big numbers on both sides. Peyton already with 3 scores. In position for a 4th before the intermission. Coming out of a Cowboy timeout.
Good call by the Cowboys. Timeout. If they score here, they want some time left to get the ball back and do something with it.
2nd and 3. Moreno to the 5 and hurdles to about the 2. He jumped up and over J.J. Wilcox and has 10 yards as he tries to run it off a little bit gimpy off of that run. And another Cowboy timeout.
You know, when you watch, first off, it's a check to the run. He sees the defense, but Moreno is just so much more aggressive and noticeably stronger when he runs the football. A little dangerous when you jump up in the air. I'll tell you what, you're lucky when you can land and not be hurt.
Of course, this is a guy that they took with the 12th pick back in the 09 draft and blew out a knee early in his career.
Well, he's turned in, and we heard the Broncos, Peyton Manning, John Fox say last night, he is a tremendous pass protector. We brought it up to him. Him and Chris Clark, the left tackle. Well, you know, Peyton Manning, you don't want to be the guy that lets your guy hit Peyton Manning.
They bring ball in for him, Monte. First and goal, rolling out. Peyton fires end zone over the head as Decker was covered up that time. Coming up, the Verizon halftime report with JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher. All the recaps of the early games. It's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report.
A lot of yards. Good time of possession by the Cowboys, but what does it mean? Nothing.
2nd and goal. They go to the ground, and the pile is moved. And they say he is short of the goal line. Monte Ball getting the carry.
Well, this could work. This works out really well if they score a touchdown, of course, for the Denver Broncos, because it lets the game clock go down, and it just limits the chances for the Dallas offense if and when they get the football back. I think you play everybody inside, you make him throw the football.
Number 1 on the play clock. Peyton calls the timeout.
Denver, 30-second timeout.
Well, you know, Jim, you talk about trying to get pressure. I kind of laugh when everybody says we got to get to Peyton Manning. Well, how do you do it? When watch the play clock, so many footballs come out like this. How about that 2.1? And at any time it's a scoring opportunity, 1.6, how fast he gets it out. You'd like for the quarterback to hold the football 3 seconds to give your defensive lineman that chance to get there. But what if you're a defensive lineman for the Cowboys? You see so many quick passes. When he decides to finally hold it, you know, you're kind of stuck in neutral. Tough spot for defensive linemen.
You see his distribution. The 3 catches by wide receivers. It's actually wide receiver, as only Decker has caught a ball. 3 overall. Again, Welker and Demaryius Thomas blank. But
yeah,
what's the difference if you're Denver? They've got so many guys to go to, and they brought back in Moreno. lined up in the eye on 3rd and goal.
Mitch Unrein is the fullback, defensive lineman.
Peyton still has the football. Can you believe it? Peyton Manning runs it in for the touchdown.
Yeah, that wasn't in the playbook this week on the defensive side. Be alert. Peyton Manning can run some bootlegs and running formations.
You ready for this? His first rushing touchdown in 5 years. The last time he tried a bootleg was out at Oakland against the Raiders when he was playing for the Colts, and it went for a long one, and nobody in the stadium could believe he tried it.
I don't think anybody here can believe it either, but it was a nice call. No risk. I'm sure they had a lot of information that said nobody's going to be watching you.
Four straight possessions by the Broncos all the way home. And here is that last rush, TD. Wasn't nearly as deceptive as what he just pulled off. That was against the Titans back in October of 2008 on the sneak.
Well, what a first half of this offense for the Broncos. And, I'm not going to say I'm not surprised, because the Cowboy defense had a big hard time last week with the San Diego offense, which does a lot of the stuff that we see the Denver Broncos do now on offense. Why? Well, Mike McCoy was the offensive coordinator last year in Denver, now with the head coach of the San Diego Chargers.
Maybe he does have that, 4.8 speed. When we were getting ready for the Manning Bowl week 2, we were talking to Eli, and they were in a scouting session, full team, and they were going through what to look out for as far as Peyton. He's anxious to hear what they say in the scouting report about his brother, and they had a 40 time that Eli wasn't so sure about that.
Yeah, he goes, well, maybe when he came out. Now listen, when he came out of Tennessee before his rookie year, now straight ahead, Peyton Manning could run a good time. I'm gonna say he ran in the 4.8s for a guy his size. That's pretty good.
Yep. He showed that explosive speed right there on the perfectly executed.
Deception is what it's all about in this league.
Absolutely.
And the Broncos got a lot of it.
Cowboys scoop it up. That's Bosworth. Hal Bosworth was tackled with 40 seconds to go before halftime. Tonight, the government may be shut down, but 60 Minutes is still hard at work. Don't miss what Steve Croft uncovered, plus Lara Logan's untold story of Black Hawk Down. That's tonight on 60 Minutes. Well, in 16 minutes, the Broncos have put up 28 points.
Well, usually you'd be extremely conservative here. I think that you got to be smart if you're the Cowboys, but if there's any opportunity, Tony Romo is going to take that shot here, because they need points, of course, for the rest of this game.
Yeah. So over to Murray, his first catch. And it's a short game, give him 5. Cowboys out of timeouts.
And just think, remarking that football and putting it on about the 6-inch line.
Chris Harris shaken up on the tackle.
Took 40 seconds off the clock for the Cowboys.
Chris Harris was getting so much action with Champ Bailey sitting out again with that midfoot sprain. It's not 100%. What a find he was a couple of years back as an undrafted free agent out of Kansas University. Here is Chris Harris closing in and got hit. Oh,
gets hit by his own guy, which is so common in this league now. You get guys flying from 2 different directions. Chris Harris, you're right, Jim, comes to the sideline after he plays. Who does he get information from right now? Champ Bailey. What a nice thing to have an extra set of eyes, but hope he's okay.
The Broncos, because of the injury, they were just charged with their second timeout. 28 seconds to go.
What is this?
And now Romo dancing around and heaves it. Man is open. Is he going to go out of bounds? Why in the world did he stay in the field? That was Williams with the catch.
They should have time to kill him. Of course, this puts him in field goal range.
And he was a foot from just stepping out, stopping the clock. But he squeezed out a few extra yards, and it cost him some precious seconds. Went for 38 yards. Now with 4 seconds to go, they will give Bailey a chance.
Just another tremendous play by Tony Romo. Williams, top of your screen, and the defense, they're going to lose sight of him. Why not? How can a quarterback move around like he is? And what a perfect throw by Romo. Drops it over the top of Webster that time and gets it to Williams.
We'll have a 48-yard field goal attempt by Bailey. Close out the half, and the kick by Bailey. It's hooking, and it is good. His second field goal of the game from 43 and from this time 48.
That's got to give you a little, well, it's definitely going to give you some momentum going inside. You're 1 score down. You readjust on the defensive side and bring up really another thought processing game plan. What you're going to do against Peyton Manning in the second half.
Watch out for the Broncos in the third quarter. They have scored on their first drive of the third quarter every game. They've owned it in their 15-game win streak. Into the first half, Denver 28, Dallas 20. Back with the Verizon halftime report. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We're back. Jim Nance and Phil Simms and the crew here. Reminder that Diet Pepsi encourages fans to bid on pink gear to benefit the NFL's A Crucial Catch campaign. Show you're fan enough by visiting NFL.com/auction to bid for pink. Brendan Holiday's had one handle today, a punt return of 8 yards, as Bailey on the kickoffs has blown it over his head every time. Only allowed 3 kicks at home this year to be returned out of 18. This one, though, will be run out by the speedster. The former NCAA champion finds the edge. Bailey is there, and the kicker lowers the head and knocks him out of bounds. But another brilliant run back by Trendon Holiday. First visit ever to AT&T Stadium for Peyton Manning, and it's starting to look like every other stadium for him. You know?
Yeah, it does.
Same results every week.
I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the Dallas Cowboy defense. 2 things they got to do, or try to do. They got to hit the wide receivers. They're giving them free releases down the field. You can't cover them if you do that, and they have to find a way, or at least try a different way, to get to Peyton Manning.
As a 40-yard return by Holiday to set up Peyton at the 33. And Demaryius Thomas has his first catch. He had one earlier, wiped out by a penalty. This one will stay in the books.
Well, I call that the Peyton Manning pass, where they send the wide receiver from outside underneath the inside receiver. He started it with Marvin Harrison. He's continued it for so many years. Doesn't throw it as often now, but it seems to always work.
Goes for 8 yards. Moreno trying to pick up the first, and Cowboys keep him about a yard short. It's Ware and Hatcher on the tackle. The Cowboy defense got asked a lot of questions, as all the experts did. How do you stop Peyton and the Broncos? Hatcher, who was in on that last tackle, said, you know what, we're not afraid of anybody.
I'm sure they're not afraid of him, but when it's all over, win or lose, they're going to respect him even more than they did before this game.
Third and just inside of a yard.
Montana.
And Moreno has the first. Needed a yard, picked up 3. You're talking about in that first half about Moreno being so good on pass protection. Well, when he was at Georgia, he had another guy that, you know, he learned how to pass protect for a pretty good arm, pretty good quarterback, Matthew Stafford.
Go!
That's Hillman, and the Cowboys get it behind the line, set it back a couple.
Well, they switch sides, which they do. George Selby goes to the right side of the defensive end, or the right defensive end, left side of the offense, and DeMarcus Ware went to the other. And I think one of the reasons why, Jim, DeMarcus Ware was having no success going against Chris Clark and getting to the quarterback, or even getting pressure. So he figures, let me go over there and try Orlando Franklin.
Just talking about Hatcher, and he hobbles to the sideline. 2nd and 13. David Carter comes in for Hatcher on that defensive front.
Like it, trying to pressure the wide receivers.
They've got Julius Thomas wide open in the middle of the field. And the former college basketball player is having another huge game. Picks up 27.
Showed you all the pressure. Now look how far the defensive back is off Julius Thomas. So when you're that far away, you have no chance of covering him. Where's he going to break? Stop, go in, go out. Peyton Manning saw it right away.
6 receptions ties Thomas's career high as Hillman is finally grabbed by Church. But Hillman showing that quick burst that he has for a 6-yard gain. Oh, and there was a flag. An illegal shift penalty against Denver.
You know, even Hillman, Jim, when you watch him to your eye, looks different than last year. Are you trying to still hear the call?
It's already been made.
Oh, okay.
Didn't you hear it?
I think I did. Well, nowadays I hear things every once in a while.
Yeah. Only the second Bronco penalty of the game. They fake to Hillman, and they go back outside to Julius Thomas, who played his college ball at Portland State, 4 years of basketball, and then after all the eligibility was used up, he stuck around for an extra year and plays football. What a move that ended up being. They got him drafted in the 4th round back in 2011.
They've been patient with him too. He's had some injury problems, healthy now, and look what he has done for this offense this year.
2nd and 10. And Decker down to the 25.
Yeah, we talk about how you're going to get pressure on Peyton Manning. It's just a moot point. It's almost impossible. Plays are so quick. He gets rid of the football. So many options of who to throw it to.
And of course, they get back to the line so fast. Don't substitute, so they freeze that Dallas 11. Moreno back. Flanking the quarterback, 3rd and 4. And Demaryius Thomas knows where that first down yardage is, and they'll give him the forward progress for 5 and a first.
Really tough. Coming from the outside, it comes underneath, and I think that's one of the toughest routes to cover for a corner. And that time it was Brandon Carr. How do you chase a guy across the field through all the defensive players and offensive players worried about running into him?
Peyton hasn't missed on 5 throws, and there's a drop. Would have been 6 for 6. He came into this game having completed the last 2 weeks 49 out of 60, and 5 drops were put in the official stats. And you're talking incredible percentage.
You know, not only that, they have a group of plays that they run almost every single game. They haven't even used them today. The little under some of the screens, the pick plays. He hasn't gone to his pet plays, beating this defense another way.
That was his 4th incompletion of the day, and of course it was a drop. Plus he has 3 touchdown passes and a run for a score. And the delay give to Moreno. Stiff arm gets outside. Moreno. Every single time he's handled it today, he has fought off defenders and picked up extra yardage.
Well, you talk about he just looks stronger, just more determined this year. The delay draw to the outside, they don't even get it blocked. That time, Ernie Sims not blocked. And as you go down the field, Will Allen not able to make the tackle. And Moreno just, we talked about it. He, even to the eye, watched him here in the game, he looks bigger and no question runs harder.
And Peyton even said to us last night, he's got an attitude about him that I like. And you're seeing it here today. 1st and goal. Peyton goes for a second option. It's Hillman, who ducks down at the 3. Well, here you go again with Denver coming out of the locker room.
Going to score. You know, you made him hold the football that time. He looked to his right. Both receivers were covered. But then he still has plenty of time to check it down to Hillman and keep the situation totally on Denver's side.
It's 2nd and goal. And Hillman It's only about a yard. As the Broncos have had it here the first 6 minutes, 25 seconds of the third quarter. They'll bring Hillman out and Moreno back in. Moreno has probably earned the opportunity to get in the end zone, but they're going to go empty. They're going to send Moreno wide left. Moreno with 76 yards on 11 carries.
Well, he's going to come back. He just wants to check the coverage. He sees it's man-to-man. Now you bring the running back in the backfield with you.
Pass, Welker, first catch is a touchdown.
Well, it's a nice change-up by Peyton Manning. They always run Welker in the flat in that situation, in that formation. So he's going to go outside, Welker, stop, and then come back in. What do? Nothing you can do.
Welker with his 7th touchdown of the season. You think about last year at New England, he put up again magnificent numbers, but he had 6 touchdowns on the whole year. He now has 7 in just a little more than 4.5 games. He has scored, in fact, in every game. First catch of the day goes for 6. 5 straight touchdown drives by the Denver Broncos. 35 points for a 6th straight game, which ties the all-time record of the Rams back in 2000. That goes back towards the end of last season. Trying to win a 16th straight regular season game. It's Dwayne Harris on the run back for the Cowboys. Stumbles and only manages to take it to the 17. Tony Romo had a great first half as well. He'll have his first handle of the second half when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Chili's. And by Chrysler. Imported from Detroit.
All of the contemporary art that you saw there featured at Cowboy Stadium. Well, Jean Jones, Jerry's wife, responsible for all of that. She's proud of it, as she should be. The Cowboys now come out with a run with Murray. Into the arms of Sean Phillips. Only 1 gain on that. Speaking of Mr. Jones, there was a spectacular fundraiser for him. Well over $1 million raised, as he was the honoree for the National Football Foundation Leadership Hall of Fame. You see Archie Manning, who runs the board there, and so many special guests. Scott Pelley from CBS News, in fact, was the master of ceremony. 2nd and 9, and long ball time, and the Cowboys connect, and he gets away. It is going to go for a touchdown for Terrence Williams. 82 yards. Romo with the perfect strike, and Williams outbattles Tony Carter, and somehow he got instant separation and a touchdown.
Tony Carter in there because Chris Harris is out. Top of your screen, what is so good, the throw is perfect across the field, but look at Williams. He shields Carter, keeps him behind him the whole time. What a job by the receiver, and a beautiful throw by Tony Romo.
Of course, it was Williams who set up that field goal right at the end of the first half on a 38-yard play.
Well, he's a good route runner, Terrence Williams. That time showed you the speed, getting down the field and making that big play.
Longest play of the season for the Cowboys. And they quickly answer. What a catch. Williams
Carter hit it.
Final season of How I Met Your Mother, and catch a new episode before they're all gone. How I Met Your Mother tomorrow, 8, 7 Central. Only CBS. That Dallas defense didn't get much time to rest after being on the field for a long time at the start of this quarter. And Bailey this time will not allow Holiday to run it back. Well, college football. Boy, did Vern, Gary, and Tracy and the crew have a game again yesterday to remember. That Georgia-Tennessee thriller, and next week this could be a dandy as well. Florida and LSU. It all begins with the college football today. Of course, this field, they turned things around pretty quickly. Notre Dame won in a wild one last night on this field against Arizona State. First down carry, Moreno. Past the first wave and another 11, but a flag is back at the line of scrimmage.
Offense number 66. 10-yard penalty.
Ramirez.
First down.
You know, the last 5 times Denver's had the football, whether it was an 80-yard field they had to cover, or after a Dez Bryant fumble, a 45-yard distance to go, they've run up and down this field 5 straight times for touchdowns. You had an interesting thought you shared with me during the break. The Cowboys, why wouldn't you consider an onside kick?
Well, I'm sure some of those thoughts go through your mind.
There's the pass over the top. And again, it's Julius Thomas. Now they'll make up for that penalty yardage and a whole lot more. He goes right past Barry Church and picks up 29.
Well, they get you watch everybody come inside. A zone defense. Oh, my gosh. Nobody in the middle of the field. Wilcox late getting back over there, trying to disguise the defense. It doesn't work. Disguises everything you do. Trust me, Peyton Manning knows the coverage before the ball is snapped. They soften you up, Jim, by throwing the football, and then usually in the second half, he starts running the football more than he does in the first.
Whereas last week, he didn't even have to play in the fourth quarter. Tillman. And a couple of Cowboys ride him down after a 4-yard rush.
Look at the number of plays. 3. The fumble, of course, so few each time, and then the long grind-out drive there to start the second half.
Joel Dreesen is on a wing to the left. He's seen limited action. Tight end for the Broncos. Here's a little dump pass to Hillman. First down. Again, wide open space. And he's to the Dallas 35. Gain of 19.
Watch the running back out of the backfield. Here he comes, but just watch the linebackers where they go. This is what's happened. He knows this. He can do this almost any time he wants. Everybody dropping back, worried about the big play, zone defense, nobody underneath.
Hillman. And that's Bruce Carter running down the line with him in a loss of 1. People have been asking all week long, how do you stop the Broncos? And a lot of people pointed out, though, that Monty Kiffin, the Cowboys' first-year defensive coordinator, running that whole Tampa 2 and everything. Right. This is a defense that Peyton used to practice against every day in Indianapolis.
Yeah, they had success down in Tampa stopping it sometimes, but they had a tremendous pass rush. Times have changed, spreading the field more and more talent.
That's Welker to the 31. Of course, Coach Dungy brought that up to Indianapolis. So Peyton, you know, he's tried to solve this riddle so many times in all those years at Indianapolis, and he's just working through this like it is a little scrimmage for him.
How do you stop it? You need tremendous pass rushers that can get pressure on the quarterback immediately, or you've got to be outstanding outside in man-to-man coverage. Hard to do like this. Look at this formation. Tough to play man-to-man tight when they're going to bunch receivers together to Peyton's left.
You saw Coach Garrett imploring the home crowd to help us out here on 3rd and 7. It's a draw. Moreno unable to shed the tackle that time of Wilcox, and that will bring out from the 30-yard line. They'll bring out Prater for about a 48-yard field goal attempt.
Yeah, Wilcox does a wonderful job. Stays outside and waits for the play to come to him.
Six for 6 on the season is Prater. Going to be a 48-yard field goal try. Colquitt on the hold, Brewer to snap it. Perfect snap with the cold, and the kick is good. Broncos have now scored on 6 straight drives, but this time it's just a field goal.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by MetLife. I can do this.
What does that do for the Dallas defense?
Shoot, it's a victory. You go to the sideline, you feel great. We held him to 3. Tony, go out there and get a 7. You know, that's not even, that's just the truth.
Prater hits it off the right upright for the touchback. Tony Romo connected on an 82-yard touchdown throw the last time he was on the field. And you're taking a look at the Nationwide Insurance Action Cam, and you've been watching 2 big-time performances by the quarterbacks. Romo 15 out of 20. He's already over 300. 75% for Romo, 84% for Manning, who's thrown for 274 and 4 scores. And Romo on first down. Going to go with another long ball. Oh, and for a minute I thought Bryant might catch up with that.
Well, Jim, you asked me a question earlier. Why is it so hard to stop Peyton Manning's talent, what he does? But look, you prepare for this. Wes Welker, he's on the outside. They do this a lot in the goal line. Fake shoot, gets to the outside, makes the catch, and scores. So you're ready for it. Now watch how they play it today. Same formation to the other side. You think, well, I know it's Wes Welker. There he goes outside. Nope. Changes up, comes inside. They get the touchdown, and they do that with all their plays. You think you zero in on one aspect? Well, this week they got a little new wrinkle for you, and it usually results in another completion for big yards.
On 2nd and 10. Nice catch on the run by Bryant. And Irving finally able to chase him down, but it goes for 27.
Really nice catch. Coming across the field, you catch him in this type of man coverage. It leaves the linebacker when the wide receiver crosses to cover him. And when you watch Dez Bryant, Jim, practice Friday, he was running full speed, diving, falling to the ground, making catches. Jason Garrett said, listen, this guy, the term diva, he is definitely not a diva. Comes to work every day and practices hard.
He's really proud of the transformation that Dez Bryant's made with his career and his life. 1st and 10. And Murray has about 2. NFL fans, you can share your story about why you love NFL football. Go to NFL.com/together we make football for official rules and a chance to win a trip to Super Bowl 48. They bring Murray out. They'll go 5 wide. 2nd and 8 with 2 minutes to go in the 3rd. Sideline route back to Bryant. Trying to reel it in with one hand. And draws a flag on Rodgers Cromartie. Held him on the arm.
Pass interference. Defense number 45. Automatic first down.
Down the sideline, nice move by Dez Bryant. Double move. Cromartie is in wonderful position. Pretty tough call. Oh, there it is. He pulled that left arm of Dez Bryant's back, so he couldn't get both hands up to catch it. But you talk about Rodgers Cromartie. He is their best cover guy, I think. And they put him one-on-one that time with Dez Bryant down the field.
And again, Chris Harris got hit in the head late in the first half. He is not going to return because of a concussion.
A lot of good matchups here for the Dallas Cowboys.
1st and 10. And that's Williams open. So he dives between 2 Denver players to the 25. And a gain of 6.
Blitz that time. Good recognition by the young wide receiver from Baylor Williams. And of course, Tony Romo. Easy read for him. Did everybody that played wide receiver at Baylor in the NFL now?
Boy, it seems like it, doesn't it?
It's no.
Coach Artie Briles down there knows how to put points on the board himself.
He only put 56 up last night in the first half.
2nd and 4. And go down the field and incomplete. Back to Des Bryant. They keep trying to feed it down the field to Des. Has Webster on the coverage.
Yeah, they got the idea, not the perfect throw by Tony Romo. That tight coverage. Webster that time, we talked about him, a big corner who can run with Des Bryant, but if he throws it right at him or just behind him, I think Des Bryant's going to adjust and make that catch. This is 4-down territory. Well, that's a good question. What would you do if you didn't get it here?
Kick a field goal.
Yeah, I guess you do.
Yeah,
to keep it to 1 score. I'm just going on the assumption I don't know if they can stop the Broncos offense.
3rd and 4. Slant. Beasley to the 5 and down to the 2. 23 yards to Cole Beasley.
Yeah, he's against the safety, Bolden in the slot. You don't have to make this decision, Jim. What a quick move at the line of scrimmage, and that's how you win in the NFL. If you're wide out, win right off the start. Bolden squares up. If you square up in that situation, what are you going to do?
First and goal. 2 yards out. Murray's already run one in for a touchdown. Going up top instead. And it is a touchdown again to Des Bryant. And there's his wife, Candace Romo. And the Cowboys look like they're going to go for 2.
So this is an interesting thing. When you talk about going for 2 here, Jim, you got to think of possessions and how much time is left. If it was my decision to make on the sideline right now, I would go for 1.
This is the book. I didn't realize they had this information in the book.
Yeah, no, they have all the scenarios, possessions. There's a formula, so it says that book says go for 2 here in this situation.
Chance to get it within a field goal.
There's no name attached to that book, though.
I want to know who the author is. Romo. He can run it in from here, maybe. No, close in and shut him out at the 2-yard line. Boy, they closed in a hurry. It did look like for a minute there was an opening.
Sean Phillips, what a job. Number 90 to the right side of Tony Romo. They run a game, and he gets off, and Romo does the right thing. If he tries to run in and beat him, he's not going to do it.
Did you agree? You usually like to wait to the 4th quarter, but there's nothing normal about this game, the way points are being accumulated.
Well, you know, I just did it this way. I thought, well, they stopped them to a field goal last time. So if they just kicked the extra point, made it 4, thinking a field goal, now they can score a touchdown and tie it up. But also you can say they kick a field goal. Now the Cowboys could score, go for 2, and tie it up again. But you know, Jim, I did see the book this week, was reading some of those scenarios. It was interesting. It's all done, of course, mathematically, and there's a lot to it.
These 2 quarterbacks have combined only 11 incompletions in the game and 7 touchdown passes. Romo, in fact, at 362. He's got a good chance to set his all-time personal record. Romo, we got another quarter of action to go. It's already the 7th most. 441 is his personal best, and that's got a great chance of being shattered.
This is returnable.
Watch out for Holiday. Tripped up and taken down at the 20. Just a 25-yard run back. Some of the early headlines. Cincinnati in the rain. Hands the Patriots.
Defense.
Their first loss. Kept them out of the end zone, too. And the Colts, big game by T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. just lit them up. And they hand the Seahawks their first loss. And the Chiefs top Tennessee. to stay undefeated. New Orleans still undefeated with its win at Chicago.
Look at Drew Brees' day down there at the bottom. Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tony Romo. There's a lot of quarterbacks. It's just every week. Great numbers.
Biggest numbers of all, though, coming from right here. As Manning goes way down the field. And it's intercepted by Claiborne. Peyton's first pick thrown this season.
They gave him a formation trying to sneak the receiver down the sideline. This bunch formation, the Cowboys really have a lot of problems with it, but a good job by Claiborne. Kept his eyes on the quarterback, and that's the reason why he's able to get that interception. It's a little bit of an underthrow, too, by Peyton Manning. Eric Decker could have been in position to fight for that football if it's thrown about 4 or 5 more yards down the field.
He got that crazy streak to 20 touchdowns before there was an interception thrown. That ends his longest interception-free streak in regular season play and was within 3 throws of setting the all-time Denver record, which now will remain with Jake Plummer. With 2 seconds to go in the third. Romo comes in. He's got his man. No, it's out of his hands. It was right there for Des Bryant. Another exciting quarter is in the books. 38-33 Denver going to the fourth. You're watching the NFL on CBS. All right, can't wait to see what's going to unfold here in quarter number 4. Jim Nantz, Bill Sims in the shootout down in Texas. 2nd and 10 for the Cowboys. And another completion. It's Witten's first catch since the first quarter.
Man-to-man coverage down the field in the slot. Jason Witten just goes up the field against the safety, and when you play that way against a good receiving tight end, what are you going to do? That quick move, no chance of staying with them. Tough spot to be in for Iheanacho. Got to go back to the interception, though, Jim. Claiborne, such a rough week last week.
Yeah.
Kept his head in there. He's been aggressive today, and a nice interception by him.
And he's got both takeaways, a fumble recovery in the first half and then the pick. 1st and 10. And there's Witten. Witten to 15, to the 10. And Moore stops him from taking it the distance.
Well, they changed it up. They said, well, let's get a little tighter. Let's get close to this guy. I can cover him. And Jason Witten, I've said it already today,
First
just
down.
so consistent, so quick for a big guy. And Tony Romo just stuck it on him. Tony Romo physically is just striping the football. One perfect on-target spiral after another.
Apparently there was a penalty against Denver. It was declined, but again, it wasn't relayed on to the audience here,
well,
much less across the country. So 1st and goal. We've got to go to max 10. Romo's over 400. Romo looking for the lead. Romo to the end zone, and it's a throwaway as Witten standing out of bounds.
He got pushed out of bounds first. Originally, he was the inside receiver, and he was trying to double move. They had him double covered. Back at the end zone, watch this. How can that not be a penalty?
And the official is right there, Terry Brown.
2 hands.
Did you ever think when Denver took the second half kick, kept it for almost 7 minutes and went up 35-20 off a touchdown, that you'd see Dallas with a chance to drive and take the lead later in this game? But that's the case. 2nd and goal. And Romo again, all kinds of time. And now fires it and hits the pass for the touchdown. It's Jason Witten, and the Cowboys are back in front.
Beautiful job. Look at the rush. They tried the game up front. What blocking? How about Brian Waters, the right guard, and Tony Romo steps up into the pocket, and he is an excellent thrower on the run.
They're going to go for 2 again.
Well, listen, I know what the book's going to say here. Hey, way to go, book. But everybody agrees and knows you go for 2 now.
2 touchdowns by the Cowboys in 96 seconds. Now trying to go up by 3. Complete for the 2 to Terrence Williams.
Another beautiful throw.
First came the pick by Claiborne. And then the touchdown to Witten. This was the 2-point conversion. 2 players so maligned after the loss last week at San Diego have a hand in the Dallas comeback. Claiborne scorched last week with 2 takeaways, and then there was Williams who fumbled trying to stretch across the goal line last week. It's the 2-point conversion earlier, an 82-yard touchdown, and Holiday gets smothered at the 17. Holloman just decks him and ends that run in a hurry.
Kickoff's a little short this time, Jim, and they hustle down the field. The speed, that's what you need. Defensive backs and linebackers who can get down and make these tackles on special teams.
Now they each have thrown 4 touchdown passes.
Well, they both have been razor-sharp decision-making and throwing the football. This defense, the emotion back on their side.
Out of the backfield they go with Moreno. Diving for about 7.
You asked me earlier, what do you do? How do you beat Denver? Well, here's the answer. Score a lot of points.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot. And it's probably not over.
Same could be said for how do you beat the Cowboys today.
That's right.
DeMarcus Ware has been in and out of this game with a stinger, and he's out there now. But the only time that been a lot of pressure on Manning, Cowboys were called for a face mask penalty in the first half. 2nd and 3, and that's Moreno getting across the first down, chain for the first. He's asking to come out, and Hillman will take that spot.
It's about as loud as I've heard this crowd here in Dallas in all the years we've been coming here. Jason Garrett said it the first 2 home games, the crowd was a great factor for them. They need them now.
And Thomas never had full possession. Incomplete. Get inside the mind of a quarterback. You can join Phil and Rich Gannon, Steve Berline, and host Adam Shine on NFL Monday QB tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. 24-hour home CBS
No,
Sports.
what you want to do is get into the mind of Adam Shine. How would that be? That would scare you.
2nd and 10. Again, Peyton's first time in this stadium, and he asked his brother Eli for a lot of tips about playing here. And the Cowboys had pressure on him that time.
That should be a penalty. That's he's in the pocket and he throws it away, and there's no receiver. Definitely in the pocket.
Ronnie Hillman slow to get up. You started this game by talking about how imperative it was that Chris Clark come up big. Again, he's the left tackle the rest of the season as Ryan Clady went out of the Giants game, season-ending Liz Frank foot injury. And he's done quite the job.
He's been tremendous, Chris Clark. You talk about this whole offensive line, but especially him.
Can the Cowboys force a punt?
The noise, is it an annoyance to Peyton Manning? Yes, but they do a lot of hand signals so they can overcome it.
3rd and 10. Across the middle. The catch is made, and what an effort again by Moreno. Got the first down.
That time they got pressure on Peyton Manning, but he knows once 27 just sneaks out. Nobody on the defensive side had him in pass coverage. They just figured he was going to stay in and block. Wonderful, great job by Peyton Manning finding him.
Well, it was a shoestring grab as well. Moreno's been one of the unsung heroes in this game. Welker takes it to the Dallas side of the field. So they get out of that 3rd and 10 jam, and now they're revving up the engines again. That picks up 13.
3rd and 10, you get pressure on the quarterback. It's everything you want, and you don't get off the field, the Dallas Cowboy defense.
Remember, Hillman went out. They've got Monte Ball, the rookie from Wisconsin, back there behind Manning. How will he be in protection? The Selby jump for the Cowboys.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 99, unimpeded to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
It's a second penalty for the game on Selby. He was the one who had the face mask penalty. He reached in on Manning in the first half. It's a 1st and 5 from the Dallas 43. Receiver screen to Decker. And that bubble screen will yield another 1st down. Welker was out there barking for him. Picks up 6.
I think the bubble screens, the numbers for him this year, he's missed it one time, and that was in the first game. They missed one against the Baltimore Ravens. But these wide receivers, Welker, all of them, great blockers for the other receiver catching the football.
5th catch of the game for Decker, including a touchdown. On 1st down, Marius Thomas. And that's good for 5. It's been his quietest performance of the season. Thomas's 3rd catch for 18 yards.
They're just not afraid to throw it underneath. You play back, which they did that time. He'll take the short receiver and put his offense in another good situation.
2nd and 5. Already within Prater range. Cowboys watch him go down the field and over the top. They're trying to blitz.
Well, most of the time they get in this blitz look, Jim. They fake it, but not this time. They both come. But Peyton Manning was ready for it, and it didn't matter if they blitzed or not. He saw that it was bump coverage on the outside, just a little bit of an overthrow.
He was going back to Julius Thomas, who's already caught 8 for over 100 and 2 touchdowns. Now a 3rd and 5. And over 80,000 on their feet. Flings it, and it's behind the receiver. Tightly covered that time by Brandon Carr. They were going to Demarius Thomas that time.
2 things. You said it right. Tightly covered. They got up and pressed these receivers, and they got pressure. How about DeMarcus Ware just push, that time pushed Clark back there, made Peyton Manning get a little uneasy. Had to throw it away, basically.
It really was Ware who made that play.
It was.
And Carr did have good coverage. So this is going to be a 50-yard attempt to tie the game. Matt Prater. And the kick is good. 41-41. And Mr. Romo, it is now your turn.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the 2013 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost. Samsung Smart TV. TV has never been better. And by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Well, that scoring drive for the Broncos again ends up with a field goal. Prater from 50 to tie the game at 41.
Can you imagine if I said to Tony Romo, it's going to be over 9 minutes to go, Tony. You're going to have about 41 points, and you're not going to be winning the game.
Again, one of those things you could have said to both quarterbacks. Well, 41 and we don't lead. Harris. Oh, there's an opening. Harris. And a flag is down at the 25. It was a 47-yard return.
During return, holding, receiving team number 26. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And the veteran Will Allen called for that, and the Cowboys will be backed up.
Well, we keep talking about, okay, what is the Cowboy defense going to do against Peyton Manning? And then now you got to go to the other side, Jim. Well, what can this Denver Broncos defense do to stop Tony Romo? He's getting time. He's throwing the football on target.
With the penalty that cost the Cowboys 29 yards. 6 DBs in for Denver on this start to the series.
Stand right. Stand right. Run at it. Run it down.
Des Bryant somehow uncovered. And another flag is down in the Cowboy backfield. It was a big gainer. Went for 25.
Holding, offense number 29. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
DeMarco Murray.
Wow, I saw him come up inside, make the block on the blitzing linebacker. He goes down low. He's got him blocked. Watch number 29 go inside. Oh, he reaps that arm around the ankle of Trevathan.
Now it's a 1st and 16.
That's a good call, Jim. And when you wrap your arms around his ankle, they have to throw the flag.
Romo spreads it out. From the goal line. Tipped away by Iheanacho. Denying Witten. By the way, next week is regional action on CBS, and the NFL Today crew is going to make a little road trip. We're going to be at the Jets-Pittsburgh game, and Coach Cowher will be with us in the booth for the broadcast. Boomer will be up with the Bengals at Buffalo, and Shannon with his old Bronco bunch. They'll be hosting Jacksonville. So we're going to squeeze in Coach Cowher. We look forward to sharing the afternoon with him next week.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Looking forward to having Coach in the booth.
2nd and 16. Beasley grabs it and goes out of bounds at about the 17.
What a job by Beasley, though, Jim, coming into this game last week. Miles Austin out. You need that inside receiver to do those little things like that we just saw. And Tony Romo has tremendous confidence that he's going to do the right thing.
Well, the Cowboys need to pick up 6 yards for the first down here.
57.
Crucial snap for each side with 8.5 to go. And Romo goes for the long ball. Bryant is there in midfield. Slashes back to the 40, but finds the open seam. What a move by Bryant. And he's tackled at the 5. On a 3rd and 6, 79 yards.
What a decision by Romo. That was not his read. He wants to throw it inside. It's all covered. They double Beasley in the slot. He stays in the pocket. The protection allows him to throw it to Des Bryant. And look at the big man run.
Omar Bolden saved the touchdown.
Boy, Des Bryant knows he's behind the defense.
And this,
oh, good, wonderful. Catches it with his hands, and then
this cut was brilliant.
Sees it right away to make the cut across the field.
Bolden, who made the tackle, is still down, and that pass puts Romo into a new category, a 500-yard passer for the first time in his career. 502.
Look, he has been razor sharp decisions throwing the football, but how about look how long it took him to throw that ball, because the coverage did make him hesitate. He wanted to throw it inside. They took it away, and he had that extra second to throw it outside. Let's just watch him.
Been so crisp with his throws.
And then finally, boy, and stays relaxed and turns it right over.
You say he throws the ball better now than he ever has.
Well, look, I think he'll admit that too. He talked about it before the season. You and I talked about throwing the football with him on Friday. He's a great golfer, and he kind of correlates the two. And fundamentally, he always is looking for something to make him better. And I'll tell you what, he found it.
Whether it was Don Meredith or Roger Staubach or Danny White or Troy Aikman, no one has ever thrown for 502 yards in a Cowboy uniform until today. And now Romo with a first and goal at the 4.
The sun's got to be a problem.
Good toss to Beasley. Beasley gets the block and he's in for the touchdown. That was Terrence Williams who helped him. Terrence Williams threw a block, and Cole Beasley took it in for the touchdown.
I think they had 2 plays called here is what it looked like to me. It's a run, but Tony Romo decides he likes to screen to the outside better. And that was a good decision on his part because there's a free runner coming into the backfield. That was Webster who was free.
Set up by Des Bryant's 79-yard catch and run. And Bailey's extra point puts the total to 48. Romo over 500 with 5 touchdown throws. But you know, we haven't heard the last from Peyton and company. Cole Beasley in his second year out of SMU. And he is not a guy that gets too worked up about being on a big stage. He takes it all in stride.
Couldn't care. All Dallas Cowboys, I'm playing for them. And J.C. Garrett said that. How about Terrence Williams, too? 2 young guys playing great.
Kick comes up short. They keep it away from Holiday. They don't get it in his hands. And that is Jackson down at about the 27. Well, combined now, we've got 822 passing yards, and it's just the 12th time in the history of the league that we've seen a quarterback throw for over 500. You're on that very distinguished list as a 500-yard thrower in the game.
You know, I feel like I'm doing a Saturday afternoon college football game with all this scoring.
Peyton fakes into the line and goes over to Moreno. That extra little wiggle helps ensure the first down and a gain of about 13.
No decision. I've said this a few times today, and you think, why is Noshawn Moreno so wide open? Because they drop back so fast, these linebackers, there's nobody there to account for the running back.
There is the running back again, Moreno for 2 this time. He's got 87 yards on the ground and caught another 5 passes for 57. Hillman, who was shaken up, replaces Moreno in the backfield on 2nd and 8. Fake to Hillman. Now they toss it to him. Scans the field and darts to that first down line, and he has it right at midfield. 6 minutes to go and a new set of downs.
And that's a play. Peyton Manning knows before the snap that the running back is going to be uncovered. So he gives it a quick look downfield and decide, why even take a chance? I'll take 10 or 8 by dropping it off to the running back.
A run to Hillman. And DeMarcus Ware is on him right away for no gain. Ramirez, the center, was a little groggy getting up, but he stays in. 2nd and 10. Manning steps up and completes the pass to Welker. Scandrick was trying to defend, picks up 14.
Well, they get a little pressure on him, but nice job by Peyton Manning stepping up inside of Hatcher, and that throw is right on the money. Good coverage by Scandrick. What are you going to do? When it throws perfect, hard to defend it. And what if you're a defensive lineman, Jim? How can you constantly, so many plays today, keep trying to get to the quarterback?
First down throw, down the field. What a catch. That was Demaryius Thomas.
Well, the sun coming in. It's not snowing. It's a hot day, but Peyton Manning just drives it out there. And Demaryius Thomas, great advantage in this league now. He can react to the football. The defensive back can't.
Did you see Moreno pick up the blitz of Sean Lee? Bursting up the middle. Allowed that play to happen for 26.
He does it so hard, he doesn't allow the blitzer to even get close to Peyton Manning to obstruct any of the throws.
It's first and goal, and it's Moreno in traffic, tossed down by Lee after 4.
Well, it's 4-down territory too, Jim. I think no matter what, if they got to a 4th down situation inside the 10, they would go for it.
Second and goal. Peyton shifts Julius Thomas to the right side. He's been his favorite target today. He's got Demaryius to the left. Stay on the ground. Moreno. Again, it's Lee. And a flag into the pile. Lee on the tackle. Moreno stopped. But the Broncos are flagged.
Holding, offense number 74. 10-yard penalty, second down.
They get Orlando Franklin, the right tackle, on that call. John Fox was actually the first coach that the Cowboys ever defeated for a regular season win in this stadium. They moved in a few years back. Came in here with Carolina. The Cowboys had lost in their debut game to the Giants, and then the next home game was against Fox's Carolina team, and the Dallas won. He wanted to come back and make up for some of that. And now his team has second and goal, trying to go in for a tying touchdown. What a throw. And stopped it to 2. Welker with the grab.
Fake the blitz, come running out of there, trying to confuse Peyton Manning. We know, Jim, it just doesn't work. And again, he fires it by the defensive guy before they can turn and react. That time it was the linebacker, Sims.
Yep, Sims just could not turn around in time. Peyton had a lot of velocity on it and now has a 3rd and goal. They go Moreno, and Moreno takes the pile with him for the touchdown.
Well, a good power run by Noshawn Moreno, and you go back, I think there's no doubt the Dallas defense did the right thing taking the penalty against the Denver Broncos. Or at least in my opinion, I would have brought him back and not say, no, we'll let you stay there and give you 2 plays from inside the 5.
And now the tying point after attempt. .129 straight makes for Prater. His last miss was in a London game at Wembley Stadium. That ties it at 48 with just 2:39 to go.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway. Try the Tuscan Chicken Melt $6 footlong special today. And by the new action thriller Escape Plan, in theaters October 18th.
What an incredible game it has been. Tied at 48. And now the Cowboys await the kick. Just 2:39 to play. And they'll start the drive at the 20. 5 touchdown passes by Romo. Dez at the start, the opening drive. Boy, was this a big one.
And beautiful.
That was after they were down 35-20 in the 3rd. Witten. Miles Austin with a cushion and full glee with his quarterback.
Yeah, he wished he was out there getting some of that action. But
and Bailey knows this could be coming down to his right leg.
I was going to say, keep putting the football in the hands of Tony Romo in the shotgun.
A blitz. Romo tries to run away from it, and he's dragged down by Phillips.
Looking to throw the football quick. Nobody open. The pressure, not really that somebody was there, just they pushed the pocket backwards. Hard to step up and be decisive of where you're going to throw the football.
People might be saying, Phil, wasn't that a horse collar?
Well, listen, you can't horse collar the quarterback in the pocket, but that was outside the pocket, and no, he did not get his hand inside the jersey or the shoulder pad to pull him down.
As we approach the 2-minute warning, they'll have to run a play before it on the north side of it, 2nd and 16. The throw, and it's intercepted. Trevathan picks off Tony Romo, and the Broncos are set up with 1:57 to play. Stepping in front for the interception. Tony Romo's thrown only his 2nd interception of the season, but just the worst time it could come on what's been an otherwise magnificent afternoon for him. He had bodies around him, and it influenced the throw, and Trevathan stepped in front of Escobar for the pick.
And pressure on him both plays that time. I don't think he wanted to throw the ball at the last second. He made that decision, and it got him in trouble.
And the pass. Beautiful catch by Thomas at the 10.
A little pick play inside. They are famous for this. I saw him do it so many times in Indianapolis. Has done it many times in Denver.
Timeout called by the Cowboys.
Right. They got 3. Now they have 2. Switched the route. Hard for Brandon Carr to get through and get there.
Here's the lineup tonight on CBS, beginning with 60 Minutes. And the untold story of Black Hawk Down by Lara Logan, followed by new episodes of The Amazing Race, The Good Wife, and The Mentalist. Only CBS. That pass, by the way, puts Peyton over 400 for the game. It's the 3rd time the Cowboys in 5 games have allowed a 400-yard thrower. One of the highest scoring games in the history of the league you're watching. First and 10. And Moreno is wrestled down by Ware. And now the Cowboys take a 2nd timeout. If only Super Bowl 12 had been this exciting when these two franchises met down in New Orleans.
Well, Jim, let's go back to the interception. 2 times, 2 plays by the Dallas offense. The first one, they sacked Tony Romo. Here he's going to throw in the middle of the screen. He gets pressure, can't step through it. And 2, also an awesome play by Trevathan. Cutting in front. It looks like Jason Witten is going to be open, but because of the pressure in front of him, he can't drive the football the way he wants, and Trevathan makes the interception.
Romo's first pass intercepted since the first quarter of week 1. And now 2nd and 9. Julius Thomas is out of bounds to stop the clock at 1:40.
That really helps the Dallas Cowboys going out of bounds. They still have that 1 timeout, but now it looks like in this situation.
Well, I got to be honest, when the ball was intercepted, I wondered if Dallas would ever see the football again. If the Broncos would manipulate a way to use up all the time and basically run it down to the end. But now 1:40, they got a 3rd and 1. Really about a foot to go for the first, a yard to go for the touchdown.
Play run all the way. Crowd it.
It's Moreno. And he's got the first, and well, they haven't officially signaled it yet, but it certainly looks like enough. And now the Cowboys have called timeout. See, now this is situation. Now the Broncos, they got all kinds of options, including just taking a couple of kneel downs and just waiting to end the game with what essentially would be an extra point distance. They might have been better had just Moreno taken it into the end zone for a touchdown and given their offense a chance to come back with a chance to tie it.
Yeah, I know what you say, but I would have gone for the stop, Jim, to make them, because they would have kicked the field goal if it was 4th and short. But now, if it is a first down,
oh, this is close. It is a first down.
so what do you do now? You're the Denver Broncos here in this situation. I think you kneel on it.
I do too. I mean, you've seen.
Why even give them a chance, a return? There's so many things. I think you kneel on the football and you kick the field goal to win the game.
You've seen Dallas run up and down this field and Romo throw for over 500 yards. So why would you give him a chance to get the football back?
And if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you let them go in.
I don't even think Denver will even approach that line of scrimmage.
Well, Peyton Manning just ran to the sideline and talked to John Fox.
And they're going into what you would call some the victory formation.
Yes.
And Ware falls on Peyton. You don't want him to have any clean looks at Manning, but that's swallowed up back at the 5, puts it in the center of the field. Peyton's not too happy about that.
What was that? Well, listen, you just went to the sideline and conferred with them what the play was going to be. But they got it dead in the middle of the field now.
I think the Cowboys are going to think back on that 3rd and 1. If he wasn't stopped for a loss, then let him go ahead in. The worst thing they could hope for was that they would pick up that first down.
Yeah, but
just
you can't make that process, Jim, right during the play. So it was so close. Look, it was only a couple inches.
And now they'll be able to run it down and take the timeout and bring Prater out for the win. Prater in his career, when he's had a possible late lead-changing or winning field goal attempt at the end of regulation or in overtime, has never missed. He's 13 out of 13. And this one's just going to be a chip shot after this snap. They make it about a 28-yard field goal attempt. Well, we should have known. We both were saying all week we thought this might be in the 30s. We could have actually gone ahead and jumped out there and said, hey, first one to 50 wins.
Well, you said it's going to be a high-scoring game in the 30s, mid-30s, both teams. I said, there's no way.
And I was wrong.
You were, well, that's right.
Yeah,
you were wrong.
Tonight on CBS, again, 60 Minutes. It's all new, The Amazing Race, The Good Wife, The Mentalist.
Well, listen, depending on what happens here, the Cowboys lose. You know and I know and everybody knows the story is going to be that Tony Romo threw that interception. And, of course, the Broncos, Peyton Manning, their offense, they were magnificent. But in these games now, a game like this, it really came down. Who made that big mistake? It was the Dallas Cowboys.
28 yards to stay unbeaten, to run the win streak in the regular season to 16. Prater for the win, and the kick is good. (51-48) Broncos in the 4th highest scoring game in the history of the NFL. Peyton throws for 414 yards, 4 touchdowns, runs for another score. Never a doubt about the kick. John Fox, your team is one of 3 unbeatens, along with Kansas City and New Orleans. Tough, really, just a brutal loss for the Cowboys, who were looking at one of those, if you will, kind of season-changing, image-changing wins.
Absolutely. Momentum, confidence, everything going forward, but now you got to regroup, be tough, try to find a way to get back on track next week.
That's 16 straight regular season wins, but it's the first win that was by less than 7 points, and it came down to the very last second. 51-48, Denver is the final score. For Phil Simms and all the crew, Jim Nance saying so long from Dallas. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.